This will be an introduction to the Mucsless diet healing system, annotated, revised, and edited by Professor Spira. Professor Arnold Ehret was a German healer, dietitian, philosopher, teacher, visionary, and one of the first people to advocate fasting and plant-based, vegan, and mucus-free lifestyle as a therapy for healing. For over 100 years, his written works and teaching have touched the lives of thousands of health seekers pursuing higher levels of vitality. Ehret's most famous book, Mucsless Diet Healing System and Rational Fasting, continued to increase popularity as plant-based, vegan, and raw food diets become more prevalent. Ehret believed that pus and mucus-forming foods were unnatural for humans to eat, and suggested that a diet of fruits and leafy green vegetables are the most healing and powerful foods for humans. Ehret offers a sophisticated yet simple and safe transitional system for those who endeavor to stop eating pus and mucus-forming foods. Early life. Arnold Ehret was born July 29, 1866, near Freiburg in Baden, Germany. His father was a gifted farmer who was a technologically advanced that he crafted all of his own farming equipment. Like his father, Ehret would be endowed with a passion for studying the cause and effect of phenomena. His courses of interest were physics, chemistry, drawing, and painting. He also had an affinity for linguistics and could speak German, French, Italian, and English. At the age of 21, he graduated as a professor of drawing and was drafted into the military, only to be discharged because of heart trouble. At the age of 31, he was diagnosed with Bright's disease, which is inflammation of the kidneys, and pronounced incurable by 24 of Europe's most respected doctors. He then explored natural healing and visited sanitariums to learn holistic methods and philosophies in a desperate attempt to quench his misery. Ehret decided to stop eating. To his amazement, he did not die but gained in strength and vitality. In 1899, he traveled to Berlin to study vegetarianism, followed by a trip to Algiers in North Africa where he experimented with fasting and fruit dieting. Due to his new lifestyle, Ehret completely cured himself of all disease and could then perform great feats of physiological strength, including an 800-mile bicycle trip from Algiers to Tunis. His discovery caused him to posit that pus and mucus-forming foods are the fundamental cause of all human illness, and that fasting, which is simply eating less, is nature's primary method of cleansing the body of the effects of unnatural eating. Hirsch, 1994, 9. Successful healer. In the early 1900s, Ehret opened a hugely popular sanitarium in Ascona, Switzerland, where he treated and cured thousands of patients considered incurable by so-called medical authorities. During the latter part of the decade, Ehret engaged in a series of fasts monitored by German and Swiss officials. Within a period of 14 months, Ehret completed one fast of 21 days, one of 24 days, one of 32 days, and one of 49 days, which stood as a world record for many years. Ultimately, Ehret became one of the most in-demand health lecturers, journalists, and educators in Europe, saving the lives of thousands of people. On June 27, 1914, just before World War I, Ehret left from Bremen for the United States to see the Panama Exposition and sample the fruits of the continent. He found his way to California, which is of special interest to him. This was because the region was undergoing a horticultural renaissance due to botanists like Luther Burbank, who later paid tribute to Ehret. At the time, the University of California, Riverside also owned the world's largest collection of rare fruits. When the war prevented Ehret from returning to Germany, he settled into Mount Washington, Los Angeles, where he prepared his manuscripts and diplomas in his cultivated eating gardens. He and other back-to-naturists began to influence local populations of young people to investigate plant-based natural living. Benedict Lust, a student of Ehret's and early proponent of naturopathy, initially distributed the English language books of M.D.H.S, Knipe, Kuhn, Just, and Engelhardt in the United States. This included M.D.H.S, Kranke Menschen, literally sick human beings, which became a bestseller. M.D.H.S worked at Luss Youngborn Sanitarium for 5 years. Then M.D.H.S opened his own sanitarium in Alhambra, California before a lecture tour. His course on the Mucsless diet healing system became a book of 25 lessons for his students. The book, along with Rational Fasting, became the most important and popular publications. M.D.H.S also developed and marketed his popular Inner Clean Herbal Laxative formula. Death. On October 9, 1922, just 2 weeks after he completed the Mucsless diet healing system, he finished a series of 4 lectures on regaining health through fasting and the grape cure, grape and grape juice fasting, at the assembly room of the Angelus Hotel on 4th and Spring Streets, where it was reported that over 100 persons were unable to find seats. After leaving the building between 11 p.m. and 11:30 p.m., M.D.H.S, age 56, fell and sustained a blow to his skull. According to M.D.H.S business partner and publisher Fred Hirsch, DNS, he was walking briskly on a wet, oily, soaked street during foggy conditions when he slipped on the curb and fell backward onto his head. Hirsch did not actually witness the fall but found that M.D.H.S lying on the street. Karl Kuhn, M.D.H.S German publisher during the 1920s, even questioned whether M.D.H.S fall was really an accident. Benedict Luss maintained that M.D.H.S was wearing his first pair of new dress shoes and slipped as a result of unfamiliar footwear. To this day, the true nature of M.D.H.S death raises suspicion among his followers. M.D.H.S powerful healing success, along with his influential and revolutionary new lifestyle, threatened the medical, meat, and dairy industries. Due to these factors, many believe that foul play was involved in M.D.H.S untimely death. His writings on religion and family were also considered quite controversial in the decades following M.D.H.S death. Fred Hirsch had many legal battles with medical authorities over the word mucus and the inner clean laxative. Legacy. Arnold M.D.H.S is a cultural icon and was an important protagonist of the emerging back to nature renaissance in Germany and Switzerland during the latter part of the 19th century. The influence of the Renaissance spread to America and influenced many countercultural movements, including the Beat Generation, the vegetarian-driven hippie movement, veganism, and fruitarianism. Throughout the 20th century, M.D.H.S teachings have thrived and developed through the sincere efforts of a small group of dedicated M.D.H.S. Today, M.D.H.S teachings are gaining wider acceptance throughout the world as more people seek to investigate plant-based, vegan healing, and detoxification. And that concludes the introduction to the Mucsless diet healing system, annotated, revised, and edited by Professor Spira.